box of memories in the corner of the attic. It's called Hannah 4. I don't know where 1, 2, and 3 have gone. I should have put it back. I shouldn't have read it. But I did. And the past came rushing back at me like a tsunami. It's all in here. August 27th. She's not dead. Not yet. For the 20-odd years I've known her, some very odd, I've been waiting for her to die. Sounds morbid, doesn't it?
It would depend on the context.
What? I've been waiting for the news of the inevitable. You know, waiting for someone to come to my door, or some voice on the other end of the phone, feigning empathy. I'm so sorry, but your friend Hannah wrapped her car around a huge oak tree last night. And they would say quietly, she died instantly. No hysterics from me, no screaming and crying, no falling to my knees, telling to the sky, why? Why Hannah? I would nod my head, because I've been expecting this for 20 years. Scenes like that played on a loop in my head all the time. That one was much better than she hit a van carrying 7 children on their way to summer camp. There were no survivors. Whatever the movie in my head was, one thing was always certain. She would be drunk. Again. How many times did I hear her slur her words? It's okay, I'm not drunk, I could drive perfectly. September 15th. Last night we went to Billy O's party. Hannah was going to stay over. She lived well. She had her little overnight bag with her. Leslie and Sean, my boyfriend at the time, were in the back of the car. We should have taken a cab. Why didn't we just call a cab? Hannah got drunk so fast. I should have learned how to drive standard. Leslie realized what was going on, and it wasn't her first rodeo. Somehow, I don't know how, because it's not like Leslie to take any action, she got Hannah's keys from her purse. No one wanted her to drive. She was furious when she realized her keys were missing. She blamed it on me, of course, ranted and raved and threatened me, because we all know Hannah is not a pleasant drunk. When she realized that I didn't have her keys, she redirected her anger at Leslie. Leslie couldn't hold up under that onslaught. Not many can. Hannah had her pressed against the wall. In a short word, she intimidated Leslie into giving back the keys. She left in a huff. She left without us, which was fine, as none of us would have gotten to the car with her. She left to drive back to Guelph, a lot further than my house. She was drunk and also very pissed off. So how the fuck did we help? And for the people unlucky enough to be on the road that night, we made it worse. How are you supposed to be responsible for people who are irresponsible enough to think that they can drive like that? And we are her friends. How does a waitress keep track of 20 patrons, how much they're drinking, if they're driving? It's a bit insane, don't you think?
I don't think I'd use the word insane.
You can only elude fate for so long, And if she doesn't die in her car, it will doubtlessly be from consuming even a small quantity of the cornucopia of pharmaceuticals she always has on hand. Prozac, Percocet, Xanax, Gravol, hormone replacements, Valium to sleep, and fuck, I would like to know the doctor who thought it was a good idea to prescribe Demerol for her, on the off chance she gets a migraine. She was using them as a preventative. And drum roll please, diuretics because she was holding her water. She washed these down with Bailey's Irish cream. I would never have known what a speedball was without her extensive experience with recreational drugs. Add all that to the 3 packages of Peter Jackson cigarettes and 33 cups of coffee a day black. She said cream wasn't good for her. October 4th. Today she told me her doctor said she was not an addict. Which one? People like Hannah double up on doctors. One knows about the Xanax, but not about the Percocet. Another knows about the Prozac, but not about the Demerol. She is standing at the abyss, looking over the edge, and they get a little kick in the panties. Oh, sorry.
No need to apologize.
Right. She tried so many times, I lost count. Once she told me, years after the fact, she almost succeeded the night of my mother's funeral. If it hadn't been for her sister-in-law finding her unconscious in the car, oh, I wanted to slap her when she told me. What did she think? I was already wearing a funeral dress? I asked her, how could you do that? How did you think it was okay to check out and leave everyone else all fucked up with guilt? She said, when you feel like nothing is better than what you have, you don't believe your leaving will affect anyone. Maybe offer a little relief. I have never felt like that, so I remember those words.
Good words to remember.
November 17th, another Hannah call. It's now 7:38 a.m. The phone rang around 3:30 a.m. She didn't call to say, hey Jenna, I want to die. She never does. She was crying. I can't even remember what it was about, but I can feel her desperation. I imagined her on the other end, gun in her hand, aim for her head. Metaphorically, of course, she doesn't have a gun. I talked to her for hours, about anything, about nothing really. Crying with her, trying to get her to see something hopeful. And I talk and she talks, and I talk and she talks, and I wait. I wait until she laughs. And then I know she'll be okay. For now. Of course, it's a laughter frequently heard by people who are at the very least marginally insane. I couldn't worry about not being there. I couldn't agonize about the one call at 4 a.m. when I'm at home. I couldn't spend my time considering what might happen if I wasn't there to take the 4 hours to make her laugh. I wasn't responsible for her, was I? I mean, it's just too much. I couldn't be held liable for something that might happen if I wasn't there, even though I know that if she could just get to the next day, the next something that gave her hope, that she'll be okay. Until the next time. So I'm usually there.
She isn't your responsibility. You're not a caretaker. But I understand.
February 7th. I haven't written much because I haven't seen much of Hannah. She isn't working. I'm having trouble connecting. At least now, I don't have to worry about her driving. After years of complicated melees, riddled with psychotic twists and turns, the sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental, emotional, have I missed any? Is there such a thing as spiritual abuse? After all these years of dealing with all this stuff, much of it her own doing, some not, the depression has conquered her and emerged the victor. The trauma she lives with every day has began to pervade her sleep. She has always had problems getting to sleep. It's a perverse enough irony that the only escape she has for all this shit is when she's unconscious, and that eludes her. But something weird started happening to her while she slept. She went to a dream clinic, newfangled fix for the therapy junkie. They videotaped her sleeping and watched in horror as apparently Hannah's anxiety manifested there. They not only discovered that she was not reaching the REM state of sleep, which in itself is enough to make anyone go mad, but she was physically attacking herself while she slept, punching and hitting herself in the face. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know what to say, so I cried. Wouldn't most of us, given the similar circumstances, would have cashed it in? Part of me is amazed that she has endured this long. That through all her attempts to end her life, she always manages to survive it. As bad as the fates are at dealing her impossibly challenging hands, she has made things so much more complex and torturous with everything she does. Therein lies the rub. March 2nd. I went over to her place yesterday. First time in a while. Things have completely deteriorated. She stays in her house, paralyzed by the anxiety of going outside. She's become a stranger to her own fears. TV is on all the time, even when she's talking to me. And I had to hold her hand and walk her down the walkway and back, the furthest she's traveled in a long time. Her house? Spotless as usual, Virgo. Yet, there was such gloom there. She made me stay over. I wanted to sleep on the couch, but she insisted I stay in her bed. I wanted to be anywhere but there. The room was rank with stale smoke. Lying there in the dark, I felt like the bed was consuming me. I was being swallowed by her pain, her torment, and her nightmares. I felt as if she was crawling inside me. I couldn't breathe. I hardly slept. Finally, when morning came, I woke with one mother of a headache, and there were overflowing ashtrays everywhere. March 15th. Well, seems she's being cured. She made it outside, found herself a crack house. A crack house! Her mother told me. How absurd that she triumphed over her fear of going outside by frequenting filthy crack houses so she could retreat to some toxic state of oblivion with a bunch of addicts she didn't know. Her family did some kind of intervention and she's living with her mother now. Her mother, who looked the other way when her father-in-law made Hannah a woman at 10. I don't see her anymore. I have a child. Crack is a deal breaker. I've come to realize that the place where she lives now is some dark, sinister, and menacing residence. It pulses with the joining rhythm of desolation, fear, and tragedy. It's not a world that belongs to me. And I'm finding it more and more difficult to have compassion for her. It feels somehow beyond me, like I can't reach her. She's slipping away and I can't make it better. Sometimes I think of her there, alone, rocking herself back and forth like the child she should have been. I'm still waiting for the call. November 10th. I haven't seen Hannah in ages. I had to unfollow her on Facebook. I couldn't watch the decline. Every once in a while I go over her page and check on her. I did that this morning. All the posts were wishing her a better life in heaven. She died about 6 weeks ago. It was clear by the post that she chose to leave checkout time. She was about to face a felony in court, so. No funeral, no chance to grieve. So I invited everyone we used to hang out with over for a dinner party. Everyone came, 9 of us. Stories, laughter, tears.
How long has it been?
13 and a half years. You'd think I've gotten over it by now, moved on, but here I am.
And here I am. Listen, they say time heals all wounds, but I don't believe that's true. It may get easier, but does it hurt less, or do you just get used to the pain? It's time. Shall we continue next week?